Welcome to SGSM. I'm your host, Alex. Today we're going to talk about The Secret Life of Pets, which, by the way, this movie was exactly what I thought it would be. It was adorable. So, The Secret Life of Pets was made by Illumination Entertainment, the same people who brought you the cancer that is Minions. But they do know how to make kids films. So, I was actually kind of excited to see this. At first I was like, maybe this will be not so great, but then it turned out that it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was everything that I'd want in a kids film. It was funny, and it had kid humor and adult humor. I mean, they made a joke about the regentrification of Brooklyn, and I was like, what? Where did that come from? I mean, it's a good joke, but where did that come from? And then it was adorable, and it made me kind of feely. It didn't. There's a point where you get sad, and it was exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but they didn't make me as sad. I don't know if I should say that I was disappointed with it, with that it made me sad, or that it was a disappointment that it wasn't sad enough. But basically, for anybody who doesn't know, there's a dog, Max. He's got an owner, lives in an apartment in New York, and one day she gets another dog, Duke. And one of the things that you notice in this film is that names don't really matter much. They give each other nicknames and stuff like that, and the way that they address each other throughout the movie changes, though you know who they're talking about visually. So there's not a lot of consistency with the names, and so I won't really know the names of most of the other characters. So basically, it's this big adventure where Duke and Max get separated from the dog walker who's walking them while their owner's at work, and then they basically go on this big adventure to get back home before their owner returns home from work. And it's rompy and playful and a little cartoony, but in a way that you can still enjoy it. There were parts that reminded me of classic Looney Tunes, just in some of the way that the characters interacted and the way that the physics felt. Most of it felt real until you got to the cartoon violence, but then it felt like an episode of Looney Tunes, in which it was fun and exaggerated, and no one is really hurt, so it's all okay. It's it felt simple and harmless, and so the part with Duke, the big dog, big hairy brown dog, is that Duke was found in the pound, or animal control services or whatever, and was brought home. He turns out that he had wandered off from his original owner to catch a butterfly, and then when he finally caught the butterfly, couldn't figure out where he was and got picked up by animal control services. And his owner, when they show the owner in the flashbacks, he is kind of an old man. And I'm like, he's dead. He's dead. I mean, Duke's only been gone for a couple of weeks, but his owner is dead. And it's like right at the end of like this dream sequence where basically they break into a sausage production factory, and so they're like on like a meat fueled high, and then they go into this flashback, and you're just like, oh my god, Duke's owner is dead. And then they get this idea. It's like Max gets this idea. Let's go bring you back to your owner. And sure enough, they find the guy's house, and a new family has moved in because the old man died. Probably one of the best characters in the movie is the rabbit. And I think the rabbit is played by Kevin Hart. I'm pretty sure that the rabbit is played by Kevin Hart. And it's so weird. It's I know that it's supposed to be weird. I know that it's supposed to be ironic that this really that he's supposed to be like really street and really like basically sort of like a Malcolm X for animals. Overthrowing the humans, the pet revolution, getting justice for all the animals who have been flushed down into the sewers or have been left behind for some reason or another. And coming out of this tiny, fluffy rabbit. And they do close the loop on it. He gets left behind by a magician, and then at the very end gets picked up by a little girl who promises to love him forever and ever. And he's like all fighting it and stuff, and then he's like, happy eyes, everything's good, happy ending for him. There is one death of an animal in this movie. The old one-eyed viper that was going to bite Max, but ends up having like a ceiling dropped on him. And I don't know. I didn't feel anything. It was a character that they'd only introduced like 10 seconds, like not even a minute before. The interactions between some of the dogs and some of the cats was funny and kind of showed it wasn't just it had kind of commentary on social class as well as like what pets do, the kind of pet things that pets think about, the actions that pets take, sort of a personalized justification for them, which it was pretty entertaining to be like, yeah, that's exactly the way that a cat is, or that's exactly the way that I've seen some dogs, or it's very, you understand it. It's very like, oh, that's great, that's hilarious. I laughed quite a bit. Overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, there's some sad parts there about some sad commentary about like animal abandonment and abuse and things like that. And there's some suspension of disbelief, like a point where Tattoo, the pig, is driving a cab with a bunch of the other animals in it, and you're like, you're kind of pushing it, movie. You're kind of pushing it. There's several times where animals drive vehicles in this movie, and you're just like, you're kind of pushing it. I mean, I'm willing to believe that they could, that the rabbit can chew down a carrot into the shape of a key and use it to break out one of his associates. But then them hijacking the vehicle and driving it several blocks at least before crashing it, you're like, I think that, you're pushing a little too much. But overall, it was a very good movie. If you've got kids, Definitely take them to see it. They'll love it. If you don't want to get a pet afterwards, you may not want to take them to see it because they'll probably want at least one pet. A puppy or a kitten or a rabbit or a guinea pig or a snake or a pig. But yeah, so that's pretty much my review. I give it a four beagles and a guinea pig out of five animals. So I don't know how that makes sense. That's okay. I'm